Welcome back to Great Day. Those who live with sickle cell disease can experience severe pain, which can appear unexpectedly. Hoxie Jones has lived with this her entire life and was even told she would not live past the age of 20. Now there is a comprehensive center right here in Houston helping those who have sickle cell disease. And here with more is the medical director for the center, hematologist Dr. Modupe Aduwu from UT Physicians. Hoxie is also with us, along with Dr. Tamia Austin, executive director of the Aswan Foundation. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Let me first, Dr. Aduwu, get you to explain what sickle cell is, because for a lot of people it's a mystery. I have sickle cell trait, and I found out early on, but for a lot of folks it's a mystery.
So sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder that causes the red blood cells to basically become sickled in shape. What that does is that it sticks to the blood vessels everywhere there's blood flow.
So then oxygen has a hard time flowing?
So then, yes, the oxygen has a hard time going throughout the body.
Yeah.
So when these people have these episodes, it can cause a lot of pain wherever there's obstruction of blood flow.
Even death.
So even death.
Yeah.
And multiple organ failure. So it does affect the whole body.
You grew up in Nigeria, in Africa.
Yeah.
So there was it's prevalent there to have either sickle cell trait or sickle cell anemia. Now, I had always been told that there are benefits to it, and one is I never had to take malaria shots when we traveled in Asia and traveled in South America, but that's kind of what happened. There was a genetic kind of upgrade where people were not dying of malaria because they had the sickle cell trait. The problem is when you have two parents with a trait that can produce a child with the anemia, that gets really bad. But we always assumed the trait was not that bad. Hoxie, you are living proof that you can have problems with the trait too.
Yeah, and I'm Tamia. But,
Tamia, I'm sorry.
Yes, okay, yes, you can have problems with the trait. You're carrying only one allele of the disease, but wherever you have those sickle cells, they can sickle. And this is something that affects people of African, Latin, Asian, Indian, Italian, Greek, Turkish descent. So it's not a skin color thing, it's a bloodline thing.
Right.
And exertion is usually in place when sickle cell trait is problematic.
Yeah, when I went to Colorado for the first time, and they thought I just had high altitude sickness, and the doctor finally looked at me and said, "Is your side hurting?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's your spleen." And I ended up with an infarct in my spleen, but no one had ever told me. And so that's why it's so important for us to educate people, not only about the disease, they know, but the trait where you could seem like nothing's wrong until you end up in a wrong situation.
That's correct. And a lot of people will look at me and think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with me. However, if I get in a situation where there's low oxygen, that can exacerbate the situation, and then I can go into a sickle cell crisis, which is when you are in severe pain.
Yeah. How early before you realized that something was wrong? And we mentioned that you were diagnosed as a young child, which is a gift, because a lot of times people go throughout life without being tested and don't know.
Probably when I was around 4 years old, I remember going into the hospital, and that was because I was in a sickle cell crisis. But I was affected more, I had more hospitalizations as a child than as an adult. And so you never know when it's going to come. It's like a mystery monster, and it seems to come for me at night. I wake up, and then I'm in a crisis.
Yeah. And again, that crisis we were talking about, if you're cutting down oxygen, then that's kind of like a slow death in a sense. And they told me I had to get out of Colorado as quickly as I could. They put an oxygen machine on me and said, just put her on a plane to any place that has low altitude, right? All right, so you are raising awareness. And for a long time, the fight has been, how do we get people to really pay attention to this? Because it seemed like the medical dollars weren't really going in that direction. This is a great thing here in the city of Houston. Tell us about this center.
So our UT Physician Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center, we do have comprehensive care because we have both primary care providers for pediatric and adults. And also we have specialists at the center. We also have behavioral, social service, case management. We do have just all types of care. We even have dental care, like screening for our patients. We have ophthalmology group down on the second floor of where we are. So basically all the care that we see our patients need, we basically try to provide in one place.
Yeah.
And it's from birth till whenever.
Where are we on the research side in terms of treatment? I know where we want to get to is where we can have a cure, right? But
Yes.
where are we in that journey?
So stem cell transplant, which is the same as bone marrow transplant, is the only cure known for sickle cell disease. The problem with stem cell transplant is that it has a lot of complications, and it's even life-threatening. So we reserve that for younger patients that tend to be probably healthier because their organs are still functioning better than adults. So we typically will do those in patients that are under age 16 who are perfect match.
Yeah.
It's better for them to have siblings who are perfect match
Yeah.
than those that have unrelated match.
Yeah, so there's a process to have to go through to even be able to get there.
They
Yeah.
do have to go through a very complicated process.
Yeah.
And even after the stem cell transplant, they do have to go through a whole lot of other things.
Yeah. All right. So that means there's more work to be done, obviously. And Dr. Austin, the Aswan Foundation is doing some of that work to help raise
Yes.
awareness and money.
Absolutely. We are sponsored this year by the UT Physicians Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center. This is the 9th annual Darling Dash 5K, and our funds are raised to offer free screenings for people with sickle cell trait and to also provide the education, because Devard and Devon Darling were right here in the Houston area, educated in Fort Bend, but Devon unfortunately died on February 26, 2001 to this
An athlete,
exertion.
so you thought, look at the picture of health,
Yes,
right?
a picture of health, but he was worked too hard, dehydration, low oxygen, and that's the perfect storm for sickle cell trait death. So the Aswan Foundation works to educate, and UT Physicians is now sponsoring our 5K coming up Sunday, February 24th in the Heights this year. We've been down in Sugar Land for the last 8 years, but right in the Heights at Stude Park. And we are registering teams. We'd love to see these beautiful Delta Sigma Theta ladies come out as a team. But we have teams of corporations, communities, church groups that will register groups of 10 to participate, run and walk a 5K, which is only 3.2 miles, and a 1K, which is much less than that. And we have adults walking the 1K and young people running the 5K. So.
And Hoxie, I know for me, I can avoid getting sick. I know I have to stay at a high altitude places. But for you, what's it like to finally see the center and to see groups like this? And this, the sad thing was, we had a brother who died, but it also was an opportunity, their family and their healing, to bring awareness to others. But what's it like to see these two come together?
It's a godsend. I've been living in Houston since 1982, and when the UT Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center arrived on the scene, I thought, finally, it's the place where I can go. It's a safe place that has dedicated, committed experts who are expert in the care and treatment of sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a doctor that I have to teach about the disease.
Or go to one over here and then go to another one over here,
Right.
another one over here. Yeah.
And so it's just a godsend. And when you think of cancer, you think of MD Anderson. When you think of sickle cell, you should think of UT Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center.
And that's a gift here in this community because they do not have that across the country. All right, the Darling Dash is Sunday, February 24th at 8 a.m. at Stude Park in the Heights. For more information, you can log on to UT-Physicians/Darling Dash. And for more information on the Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center, call 888-4UT-DOCS. 888-4UT-DOCS or log on to UTphysicians.com.